Oh cool, a book launch. Let's go check it out. Hey, I'm Repute. I released this book 10,000 years ago. I've been asleep ever since, but I'm kind of back now to claim what's rightfully mine. Yeah, cool. What was the book about? Well, you see, 10,000 years ago we were oppressed by a foreign nation that kept us down. Yeah, okay, I agree. And since then, we've been trying to correct the ship and expand our empire. Yeah, okay, I agree. We need a common enemy. Yes, you see, we need to slay the filthy Xenos that exist in this universe. Okay, sounds a bit crazy. And I am the rightful son of the Emperor. I will claim that... Whoa, this is getting a bit out of hand. This looks like some other book that someone else wrote a long time ago. You guys are supposed to look like Romans. He's kind of looking like the wrong Italian Emperor here. But that's okay. Why don't we just discuss why the Ultramarines are the perfect master race? And real quickly, let's get into today's sponsor. Me. I dropped some merch. Links in the description. Catch you in the video. Well, right. Let's settle something. The Ultramarines. Everyone loves to hate them. It's become the meme. But let's be real. They're the reason why we got into the hobby. So let's have some respect. No Ultramarine slander down below. Let's keep it all about the poster boys. The textbook Space Marines. The ones that follow the rules. Buy the book. And that's exactly why they're the perfect Space Marine. It's easy to dismiss the safe pick. The ones that seem to be a little too pristine. A little too perfect. But here's the thing. There's a reason they're the most iconic chapter in the 40k universe. There's a reason they're the ones that stand tall, even in the face of the galaxy's worst horrors. And let's be real, if they were on Horus' side, the Imperium and Ban would have lost. At the heart of the Ultramarines, their Primarch, Robot Guilliman, Robot Girly Man, whatever you want to call him, make no mistake, he's no ordinary leader. He's one of the most brilliant minds in the galaxy. Despite being a Nepo baby, his vision for the Ultramarines was far beyond simple warfare. He didn't just want them to be good at fighting, he wanted them to be perfect at everything. The master tactician was constantly thinking, calculating, planning. He understood that in the Grimdark, where chaos reigns and death is everything, humanity's best chance for survival was a force that could outthink, outlast, and outfight everything that came their way. Girly Man didn't just create a set of rules, I might actually call him Guilliman because you guys might think I might not know how to pronounce it. He created a blueprint for survival. The Codex Astartes wasn't just a manual for Space Marines, it was a way of life, a way to ensure that no matter what, the Ultramarines would always be able to adapt, survive, and crush their enemies with surgical precision. The Codex isn't just about tactics, it's a reflection of the Ultramarines themselves. It's about discipline, precision, and unwavering loyalty. They're a chapter that never takes unnecessary risks. They don't go charging in blindly like the World Eaters or the Blood Angels. No. They have patience, they wait, they plan, they adapt, and then they strike with deadly force. The key to their success isn't rushing into headlong battles. It's knowing exactly when to strike, where to strike, and how to strike. Think of the perfect base hitter in baseball. That's us. And let's not forget about the battles they've fought. They don't get enough credit for their battlefield accomplishments. Sure, they don't have the flair of the Space Wolves or the roar of the Black Templars. Kind of got the same methodology, let's just slay everything in front of us. But they have something even more important. Tactical genius. Who would have thought? Look at the Tyranid invasion on Macragge, their homeworld. The Tyranids came in full force, overwhelming everything in their path. But the Ultramarines did not flinch, did not panic. They fought with cold, clinical efficiency. They held their ground, they adapted, and they won. Sure, Macragge was absolutely fucked. But what the Ultramarines did afterwards, they didn't mourn, they rebuilt. They trained, they came back stronger, they survived, and proved it time and time again. And that's just not some far old story of the past. The Ultramarines did not stop being legendary in the 41st millennium. When Guilliman was brought back to life centuries later, he didn't just waltz in and expect everything to be fine. The galaxy had changed. The threats were more powerful than ever. This Nepo baby rocked up and thought he'd be able to control the WWE like Mr. McMahon's son, and realised this is not that easy. But Guilliman didn't see that he had a reason to quit or fold. He saw it as an opportunity to adapt. And guess what? The Ultramarines are now back leading the charge against the forces of chaos and the Tyranids. And those fucking robot green dudes. Everyone else is trying to destroy the Imperium. They're at the forefront, showing the galaxy once again how they adapt to any situation. But let's talk about the importance of the Ultramarines. We all know the fanciful backstory. They're the foundation, everything the Imperium of Man stands for. And the Ultramarines perfectly embody that. They don't just fight for the Emperor, they fight for the survival of the galaxy. They're the ones that hold it together, the ones that the Imperium turns to when it's all about to collapse. It's easy to laugh at the rules being narcs, their order. It's easy to think they're boring. It's easy to think they're too perfect. It's kind of like when you go to a job interview and they ask you what your weaknesses are and you tell them about how the good things are your weaknesses. Pro tip: in a galaxy of madness, they provide stability. In a universe where heroes die every day, the Ultramarines never falter, never break, they're disciplined, they're reliable. Man, how many adjectives am I going to throw out in this video? Look at their organization. Every Ultramarine chapter operates with military precision. They're not a bunch of random squads put together, they're a cohesive unit working as one, with everyone knowing their role, their purpose, and their place. Shout out 2013 Miami Heat. They understand the value of teamwork, of working together, and of never leaving a brother behind. Some of you could understand that. There's a reason their chapter is one of the most large and respected. They're the standard, the model that all other chapters strive to be. And here's the kicker: they're not perfect because they're lucky. They're perfect because they worked for it. Discipline overcomes talent at every opportunity. Shout out Cristiano Ronaldo. Every battle, every campaign, every victory, the result of years of discipline, of strategy, of unyielding drive to protect the Emperor. The Ultramarines aren't just the Space Marine chapter, they're the cornerstone. So maybe they're the safe pick, maybe they follow the rules a little too much, but let's be real here, we need them, the Imperium needs them, the Galaxy needs them, Games Workshop needs them to sell these little blue toys and continue to be on the front at the Games Workshop store. They don't just fight, they lead, they don't survive, they thrive, they don't protect, they defend, they protect. So, what is the Codex? Let's get a bit more into the nitty-gritty of the Space Marines and not just keep this at a high level. In the wake of the Horus Heresy, the Imperium of Man was restructured to prevent such a disaster from happening again. The High Lords of Terror, under Mr. Guilliman, set about reorganizing the Imperium's forces, leading one of the most important documents in the Imperium of Man, the Codex Astartes. Rabute Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, was instrumental in crafting this document. After devastating consequences of the heresy, the Codex Astartes was laid down the foundation for the organizational and tactical principles that would form the newly reformed Space Marine chapters. The inspiration of the Codex came from Sergeant Arnold Thiel, an Ultramarine veteran. After surviving the brutal underwar of Calth during the heresy, Thiel founded the Red Market Task Force to hunt down traitor Marines. His battle experience led Guilliman to reconsider the way that the Space Marines should fight, moving away from the old Legion structure, which was like massive fucking hordes of 10,000 dudes going in there and pillaging everything before them, towards smaller, smoother task force. This shift in strategy was crucial for Guilliman's vision of reorganizing the Imperium, and the Codex Astartes was codified for how Space Marines would operate moving forward. One of the first major changes was splitting of the 9 remaining Loyalist legions into 1,000 strong chapters, ensuring that no individual would wield the might of a full legion again. Despite those Black Templars, those cheeky buggers. The Horus Heresy had exposed genetic weaknesses in the Space Marines, particularly in their gene seed. To safeguard against corruption and instability, Guilliman decreed that Space Marines would be created slowly and trained slowly, with strict genetic monitoring. The Imperium would control the gene seed and prevent cross-contamination between chapters, ensuring stability and loyalty. The creation and structure of the chapter, including recruiting practices and how each Space Marine would be trained. Guilliman outlined the tactical differences between the squads. Tactical, Assault, Devastator, you get the point. The Codex also clarified that no one but the Emperor, through the High Lords of Terror, could order the creation of new chapters. While the original Codex outlined strict rules, it also allowed for flexibility. Over time, the chapters adapted their tactics and structures, though they remained faithful to the Codex's core. The Codex Astartes is not just a tactical guide, it's the Bible, revered by every Space Marine chapter as both scripture and a set of unbreakable rules. Guilliman's vision during the second founding was when many of the remaining Loyalist chapters were broken into smaller chapters. Following the birth of the Great Rift and the onset of the Era Dominatus, Guilliman's resurrection led to a revision of the Codex Astartes. This revision was designed to meet the demands of a new era. including the induction of the Primaris Space Marines. Games Workshop wrote the Codex Astartes. Games Workshop needed bigger models to sell. Games Workshop created the Primaris Space Marine. Under the revised Codex, the organisation of Space Marines still consists of 1,000 Battle Brothers. While this is a small number compared to the old legions, it's proven time and time again that this is enough people to conquer the rest of the universe, the rest of the galaxy itself. Each chapter still has 10 companies, each led with 100 warriors led by a captain. Often by 2 lieutenants, the companies are further divided into squads of 10, each with a sergeant leading them. The chapter command oversees the deployment and leadership of these companies, while the armory provides the necessary armoured support. Guilliman's updated codex allows for the possibility of up to 20 squads of 5 Battle Brothers, with the flexibility of each battle company to reinforce the auxiliary warriors. These additional squads are drawn from the reserve companies, ensuring that the chapter can quickly adapt to the changing battlefield conditions. Thus, remaining the vital part of the Space Marines' identity, it is revered not just as tactical brilliance, but the legacy that it represents, ensuring that the Space Marines continue to be unwavering forces in the galaxy's darkest hour. Now, something a bit more nuanced that some people may not know is the Death Oath. The Death Oath is a solemn tradition inherited by the Great Crusade, where Space Marines would swear to accomplish a near impossible or dying try, as often as means for redemption of past failures. A dishonoured Marine might take this oath to restore his heroicness through death, and if successful, he would come back a hero. In the 41st millennium, however, the Death Oath is a little less common, as Space Marines are deeply indoctrinated to never fail the Emperor or their Primarch. Failure, however, does occur, and when a Space Marine dishonours his chapter, such as losing a sacred relic or causing unnecessary casualties, a superior may impose the Death Oath. Sometimes I wish the Death Oath was put on me. When pronounced, the Marine is cast out of the chapter, essentially dead to his brothers. He's left alone in the galaxy, often on a dangerous, seemingly impossible mission. Most who take a Death Oath die in the attempt, but few succeed. But a few succeed are tested for corruption and are hailed as heroes. Others either join the Death Watch or the Inquisitors, hoping to find some purpose in death. Sadly, some of them lose their sanity and become renegades, consumed by hatred of the Imperium. While similar to the Warrior's Pilgrimage, a voluntary quest, the Death Oath is a punishment by the chapter for failure, with the Marine exiled permanently unless he succeeds. Both oaths share a common origin, but the Death Oath is a tragic and harsh exile, unlike the pilgrimage that leaves the Marine truly alone. Last but not least, let's get into this resurrection business, because this dude just popped up like the second coming of Jesus himself. The resurrection of Rabute Guilliman was the first Primarch to return, and it was one of the most monumental events in the 40k era. It occurred during a time of great upheaval, including the fall of Cadia, the opening of the Great Rift, the Indominus Crusade, and the Plague Wars. Guilliman's return was especially significant due to the chaos and confusion of the era. It wasn't something that was planned or even predicted. To understand how he came back, we first need to know how he died. Guilliman was gravely wounded by Fulgrim, the demon Primarch, who poisoned Guilliman's throat as he lay dying. His soul was about to be consumed by the warp, but the Emperor intervened, saving him from his true death. His body was then placed in stasis on the world of Macragge, where he remained for 10,000 years. Wish I could sleep for that long. The resurrection didn't happen immediately, because the technology to bring him back was incredibly complex. Archmagister Belurus Core, I've butchered that, and the Primaris project played crucial roles. Cole had the tools like the Armour of Faith and the Emperor's Sword, but he didn't attempt to revive him until the perfect time. The key to Guilliman's return wasn't just Cole's technology. Despite the severity of the situation, the Ynnari used their powers to help bring Guilliman back. The resurrection took place during a desperate moment when Ultramar was under siege by the Black Legion. Cole completed his work just as the forces of chaos closed in. Guilliman was revived, not only through technology, but through the Emperor's will and the magic of the Ynnari. He immediately rose, equipped the Emperor's sword, and repelled the Black Legion. His return was a massive boost for the Imperium of Man. It's worth noting, the Guilliman's resurrection wasn't a one-time occurrence. Other loyalist Primarchs, such as Sanguinius, suffered true deaths, and their bodies are beyond revival. While other Primarchs like Vulcan and the Lion may have a chance of returning, Guilliman's resurrection was unique due to a combination of advanced technology, Eldar magic, and divine intervention. Guilliman's return reshaped the Imperium. He began to organize the Imperium's forces and led the Indominus Crusade, bringing hope to humanity despite facing constant challenges from chaos. That's what the book's about. That's what the Ultramarines are about. I'll catch you guys in the next one.